All right, I want to work through one more example. And this time it's going to be a little bit of a complicated one, but one that we'll be working with a lot. So I'm going to take as my base ring, my ring of coefficients is going to be q adjoin root 2. So in the previous examples, that ring of coefficients was always rationals or integers. This time the coefficients are from q adjoin root 2. And to that, I'm going to add on one element of r. Okay, so here my r is real numbers, and my s is q adjoin root 2. And then my little a, this additional element I'm going to add in, is root 3. All right, so this is q adjoin root 2 adjoin root 3. And so sometimes we just write it like this, skipping the parentheses. And then even further, we're going to eventually simplify and just write it as q adjoin root 2 and root 3. So we're really starting with q and adjoining both of those elements. All right, so what do elements in this look like? All right, first pass is I am going to take q adjoin root 2, I'm going to adjoin root 3 to it, and so I can have any polynomial expressions using root 3, and those coefficients, the SIs, live in q adjoin root 2. So that's my set. But like we saw before, with that root 3, I don't need a root 3 squared because that's just 3, right? And I don't need a root 3 cubed because that's just 3. So the only thing I'm going to end up needing here, we know that I can simplify everything down to an S0 and an S1 root 3. I don't need the rest of those terms, and this probably would be better if I change my variables, because this isn't the same S0 and S1. We're going to collapse some stuff and combine like terms, right? So let's call it A and B root 3. But then those A's and B's here, those live in q adjoin root 2. Okay, so what does that mean they look like? What is A? So what do A and B look like? Remember, q adjoin root 2 we had written down as the set of all, I'm going to change variables again, something like x plus y root 2, right? Where x and y were rational numbers. So A and B look like that. A is some maybe c plus d root 2, and B is some e plus f root 2, right? So if we think about then our a plus b root 3, what that looks like is c plus d root 2 plus an e plus f root 2 times root 3. And we can simplify that even further. So let's keep going with this. So maybe I will first distribute that root 3. So I have an e root 3 and an f times root 3 times root 2. That gives me a root 6, right? So now my a plus b root 2 has turned into this big expression with some root 2s, some root 3s, and some root 6s, which is maybe a little bit surprising. All right, so that's what our q adjoin root 2 and root 3, that's what it looks like. It's the all numbers of the form c plus d root 2 plus e root 3 plus f root 6, where c and d and e and f, remember where those came from? They were from this q adjoin root 2. They were all coefficients in q. Okay, so you'll play around some more with things like this in the quizzes, and we'll keep thinking a little bit about this simplifying process and better ways to think about it.